So today we are going to talk about the grade 6 chapter 2. So if you have not followed the first chapter video, please go and watch it from the playlist, or you can get the URL from the description. So this is our second chapter for the grade 6. So here we are going to talk about use the computer laboratory safety. So any idea what is a computer lab or computer laboratory? In most of the schools, you may have a computer lab, right? So it will have a lot of valuable resources in it. And the overall together, the computer lab is a very valuable place in our school, right? So in there, we will find computers and other accessories like printers, scanners, and multimedia projectors. So these are very expensive things, right? Already they have spent, maybe it's from the school or maybe it's from the government, they have already paid a lot of money for that. So if there is any damage or repair, then again they have to either replace it or either repair it. So this will take a lot of money. So it's your responsibility to use them properly and keep them safe. So let's use the computer laboratory correctly. So when you're using the computer laboratory correctly and safely, there are two sets of guidelines you have to follow. One set of guidelines is for your own safety. The second guideline set is for the safety of the devices. So first we'll think about what are the guidelines you have to follow for your safety. Now, computer and other equipments are all electronic devices. So when you are using electronic devices, you have to make sure that you should be very careful because there are wires, sockets, and all other stuff. So, for example, don't touch electronic devices with your wet hands. That's a normal practice we do with other electronic devices also. So, similarly with computers also, we have to follow those things. If it's lightning and thundering, don't use electronic device like that. Don't use computers. Those are common things. And it's better where the exit doors are, where the fire extinguishers are, especially in an emergency case like fire. Then always avoid running and playing inside the computer lab because there are wires and equipments everywhere. So it's not safe there. It's not a playground there. Next set of guidelines is for the safety of the devices. So do not supply power to devices without proper instructions. Sometimes you may know about computers a lot, but then it's somewhat okay. But if you're very new for this as a grade 6 student, please let the teachers do it or you get the guidelines from them. And always try to keep the laboratory and all the equipments very clean and dust free. Right? Most of the computer labs are not allowing footwear for you because dust can cause different issues. And all this equipments must be properly shut down, especially computers, and switch off after you use it. And if you use the computer equipments, after that you have to keep it in the proper place. Don't put it everywhere because this is a public place where a lot of people will come and use it. So if you put things here and there, it's very hard to find. Then avoid taking food, water, and other liquids, especially, for example, if you spill liquids over your laptop, it will break, it will not work properly after that. So don't take food, and food is especially for, because if you put small food particles here and there, the insects like ants will come. So it's also not good. So that's why they're asking not to take food or other liquids. The final thing is very important thing. Virus scanning before you connect any external devices. For example, like the pen drive or CDs, DVDs or portable hard disk. If before connecting those devices, you have to do a virus scan. What do you mean by a virus, especially in computer terms? Any idea? So a virus, normally you may have, humans are also getting viral flus and all. So what happens? You get sick, you need medicine, you have to do blood reports, you are not functioning properly, lot of issues, right? So similarly, computers also can get viruses. These are software programs, but those are harmful software programs, right? So when there is a virus in your computer, what happens is computer is not functioning as expected. Suddenly it can shut down. Suddenly it's like very slow, right? It will consume your memory with unwanted files and folders, uh, like that. Okay. So it's better when you connect those external devices, you scan them. Like you can use virus guards like Kaspersky. Then you scan it and then you use the those devices. Then we are going to talk about how to operate the computer. Now this is how to switch on the computer and starts work. Okay, so first you have to give the power. The main supply should be switched on and supply electricity to the computer. Then you have to switch on the UPS. What is UPS? Uninterrupted power supply. That means if your computer is connected uh, to the main power supply directly, what will happen if the main supply is not there? If electricity goes on, what will happen? Your computer will be like shut down immediately. It will be like switch off immediately. So it's not good. It's better to do a proper shutdown. I will explain how to do a proper shutdown in a later minute. But what do you mean by proper shutdown? Why we need to do it is because it is not good to your hard disks and all to shut it quickly. Because in the hard disk there is a head moving. So if suddenly power goes on, head is like stop in a sudden, so it's not good. So you have to do a proper shutdown. So UPS is something like a battery acting. So then where even the electricity goes on, it will be some time for you to do a proper shutdown. Then we have to switch on the system unit. Then finally you have to switch on your monitor. But when it comes to a laptop, process is totally different. With a single power button, everything will be switched on, right? Then we are going to talk about how to shut down the computer, right? So when you are after using the computer, you have to close all the programs you have used, and then you have to select the command shutdown and click it. So what is this command? Now I will show you in my computer. It is for Windows 10. So if you select this power button, there are three options to go. Sleep means when you click this, the PC is running on a very low power, but still all the apps are open. So when you open the PC again, quickly you can start working. So user doesn't have to wait until it boot up. Next thing is shutdown. You close all the apps and turn off your PC. Finally, it's restart. Close all your apps and then you turn off your computer. But again, uh, it will turn it on automatically. So you don't have to do it. Why we need a restart? Any idea? For example, when you're working, you feel your computer is very slow. It's not performing or it's frozen. So you can do a quick restart and continue work again. Okay. Sometimes when you install some of these programs will ask you to do a restart. Okay. Then we are going to talk about computer ethics. So what do you mean by ethics? These are not rules and regulations. These are the good values or good customs that will lead to a good life. So if you follow these things, it's good for you and the society. Right? What we'll think about what is computer ethics. So when you are using the computer lab, make sure you are not disturbing others. It's not only for lab, even at your home, when your parents are using the computers and all, don't disturb them. We must avoid hacking computer activities of others. Now, for example, you may have heard that sometimes the government sites had been hacked and these information has been altered. So these things you should not do because it can be illegal. Okay. And the softwares which should be used by paying money should not be fakely used to copy. Now, softwares there are two types. Okay, so one thing is open source, like the Mozilla Firefox, Chrome. So you those things you can just freely download and install and use it. But if it is a proprietary one, that means you have to pay when you're using it, like Windows operating system or this Microsoft Office, you have to pay the license. In Sri Lanka, most of the time people are using the cracks. They don't pay, they just put a crack and I use a key and then use it. So it's not the correct way of doing it. Especially if you are a professional body, you have to pay the license. And we must refrain from accessing computer files and articles of others without permission because, as I previously told, computer lab is a public place. So a lot of students are using the same computer. So don't delete, don't alter the things of others. We must not repair any computer devices without proper instruction. This is especially for boys, right? You may think you are an expert also of electronic devices and all. Don't do different break the system circuits. Look into that. Don't do those things. Please take a help of an expert. We must not access internet without any proper supervision. Now, if you're watching this video as a grade 6 student, that means definitely you have access to the internet, right? Okay, at the age of 11, right? So then when you are using the internet, you may have encountered, you may have watched or you may have seen some unwanted stuff which is not suitable for your age, even not for any age. Sometimes maybe it's not suitable for any age. So those things, if you were exposed for those things, please let your parents or teachers know it because they can help you. So initially you may feel very curious to know, you may feel very happy like that, but later on, sometimes it can cause you a lot of mental stress, depression, maybe it's life threatening as well. So please make sure you use the internet with the content proper for your age. So for that, you take the assistance from your parents and teachers. We should not uninstall, change, delete, even install softwares to the computers of, especially in the lab, without permission of teacher. Why I told installation? Because you may installing a virus itself. You don't know sometimes. Okay. Yeah. Then we are going to discuss before that, so these may be not rules and regulations, but in schools you may have separate rules and regulations for your computer lab. For example, when I was schooling, when I was in grade 6, we were using computer lab. So then there were like notice telling you have to remove the footwear and come. It's like a rule then. Then you cannot enter. The next thing is you have to use the correct posture when you're using the computer. Now I have been using the computer about more than 10 years now. So luckily I don't have much health problems regarding usage of computer. So that may be because I use it in the proper way. So if you doesn't use the correct posture, then there may be a lot of health issues. Now this picture is very important picture which explains you a lot of good things you should do. A, you have to keep your computer screens at your level of your eyes. Okay, so don't make it far high or far low, above or far below, because then it's very hard to use. It will cause you pains in the eye, problems in the eyesight, tearful eyes, red eyes, dry eyes, right? If it's too much near for your eyes, also it cause problem. That is what explains in the B. So the distance between the eyes and the computer screen, at least it should be between 18 to 28 inches. So if it's too close for your eyes, one of my friend got dry eyes, okay, because she was using the computer very nearby, right? So those things will directly cause the problems for your eyes. So C is you have to sit straight and your back should get a good proper support from the chair. Otherwise, you will get problems in the backbone. D, you have to keep your legs hanging vertically, but legs should be on a surface, right? So otherwise, you will get strain in feet. Final thing is you should keep your keyboard and mouse at the level of your elbow, right? So it should, otherwise you will get a lot of pains in the fingers, wrist and elbow, right? It should be very easy to type and use the mouse. So in addition to these things, you should make sure your screen brightness and the contrast is suiting for your eyes. Right? Always try to get a rest while you are working with the computers. I know students who are working. Working means they are basically for entertainment. They are playing video games. They are watching films for like continuous 2, 3, 4 hours. Right? It's not very good. Not only for your eyes and their brain and all. It make you obesity issues also. It creates. So it's not good. Right? So there's something called 20-20 rules. That means every 20 minutes, look somewhere 20 feet away for at least 20 seconds. What it actually means, at least within 20 minutes, try to take a break. If you cannot stand and walk, please at least look somewhere else. Okay, it's better you have a walk and have a drink or a tea like that, have a discussion with your family members or like that, because rather than continuously using the computer, this is applicable for at your home as well, not only the computer lab in the school, because in the school maybe anyway 45 minutes is your period, so you may not have access to the computer lab for more than 1 hour in school, but in the at home definitely you will have access. Then next thing is we are going to talk about how you should dispose your electronic waste. So all these computer hardwares, not only computer hardwares, even TV, washing machine, fridges and all these things we consider as electronic waste when they become out of use, when the user discard them, when user cannot use it again. So it is considered as garbage or electronic waste. Right? So when we are disposing these things to the environment, we have to do it in a proper manner because these gadgets are having a lot of metals like copper, aluminum, lead, mercury, beryllium, like, okay. So these are very harmful for human body and for the environment. So it will lead long-term non-curable diseases like cancers and kidney failures. For example, lead is causing damages in the brain, kidney disorders, blood circulations, cancers, right? And damage your nervous system. So there are a lot of illnesses can be caused. So therefore, we have to make sure you throw this or you dispose them in a proper way. So for that, they have introduced something called 3R system: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Reduce means sometimes if your company is like broken or have something, rather than throwing it away and going for a new equipment, you can use the existing equipment by, like for example, you do a repair, you do a maintenance, and then you start using it. So it will reduce the garbage or the waste you are throwing at the environment. For example, in this example, they have told that there was a problem in the computer, so they did some maintenance, repair. Now I will give a real world example. Now even one of my laptops, the keyboard is not working fine. Some keys are not working, and what I did was I replaced the keyboard only in the laptop itself. Now it's working fine. Okay, rather than throwing it away, you can replace some of these items and reuse. Then reuse. That means now earlier one is reduce. That means you reduce the amount of garbage you are throwing to the environment. In here, you are going to reuse this one. Okay, actually now if you are going to purchase the new equipment, why you are doing it? Maybe really your computer is broken. Then there is no any option. You have to throw it away. But still, if it's not in the working condition, you can use it for other purposes, not for a computer purpose, but for other purposes. Like now see in this picture, they are using the discarded CRT monitors as flower pots. System unit can be used as garbage bin. Okay, that is when the computer is anyway broken, you cannot use it. But if it is still working or you can use it, rather than throwing it to the garbage, you can sell it or you can give like a donation for somebody else. So at least somebody else will be using even though you are buying a new gadget. Final thing is recycle. Now, if the equipment cannot be repaired or reusable, then finally you have to throw it away. But you can do a recycle. What do you mean by a recycling? So you transform this waste and create a new product. You may have heard this with paper, right? Paper you can recycle. Similarly, these new materials, even plastic, you can recycle and produce new equipments. So that is about how you dispose electronic waste. Then we are going to talk about how the computers can be safeguarded physically as well as logically. For physically, how to save the computer? For example, in the computer lab, there is a locked door, so thieves cannot come in. There may be CCTV cameras operating, so if anybody do some harm or something, then we can capture that. Or there's a security guard for the computer lab. So those are the ways how you can physically protect the computer. But how to protect the computer logically? It's the password. So what do you mean by password? Right? So to protect your information stored in the computer, you can use some kind of a secret word. This is called as a password, right? So only if you know the password, you can enter to the system. And if the password is wrong, that person cannot enter to the computer. So the computer is not allowed for them. So unauthorized people cannot access the computer. Okay, so that's why password is important. Not only for computer, you may have heard about Facebook, Gmail, those applications. Those applications also need a username and a password. So if you know your password and username only, you can access your account. Okay. So when you're deciding, selecting a password, don't use ABC123 or your first name. Some applications anyway don't allow those kind of things. Try to use a strong password. Something easy to remember but hard to guess. Okay, so when you're selecting your password, make sure it's a collection of letters, maybe capital letters or simple letters, and numbers and special symbols like at and $sign and all. So at least try to have minimum 8 characters in it, right? So then it's a strong password. Now, if you try to create a Gmail account and all, they have these policies in it. You cannot create like your first name 123 or 12345. So those are very common, very bad passwords. You can very weak ones. Okay, don't use those things because anybody can guess it. And especially when you are deciding the password, you should not include your name, birthday, those things because it can be easily guessed. And sometimes you can give a password hint because sometimes you itself, you will forget the password. There are some concept called secret questions also. You give some questions like, what is your first name, like that. So if you forget the password, how to get it back? Kind of a hint. And there's something called pass phrases. Like, for example, you can use English phrase. Like what now it's displaying on the screen. You can see like this. So these are English phrases, but with different symbols. For example, replace O with 0. Replace TO with 2, number 2. Okay, so like that you can change and you can insert here and there, you can insert different symbols. So then it is easy to remember. And make sure you don't write your passwords on papers or here and there. Don't keep it. Okay, then anybody can see the password and enter and access your system. Okay, that's another bad thing you are doing. And don't use the common password for all the applications. Then if one get hacked, all the other things can be hacked very easily. And sometimes you may have seen in Facebook and all these applications, they are asking you forget your password. Okay, so if you forget your password, then they will ask you to enter your email or a phone number. So they will help you to reset your password. Okay, like that, then even though you forget your own password, they will allow you to get back to your account. So that is the end of this chapter 2, right? So as you can see, I'm using the government textbook. So this may be already with you, or you can easily purchase this book from that government places, and this is easily downloadable as well from the government textbook site. So that is it for the chapter 2. So in summary, we have learned about how to turn on the computer proper way, how to shut down it, right? How to use the computer with the proper posture, like how we should protect the computer lab, what are the safety guidelines you should follow, and how to dispose electronic waste using 3R system, and how we can use the password, how to choose a strong password, those things in this chapter 2. So I will be doing a separate video series for the workbook activities, but if you have anything to know, any comment or something like that, please do it, and make sure you subscribe my channel and put a like for this video if you really learn something from this. Okay, thank you very much for watching this. I will meet soon.